In Deadwood, I learned that a man will risk anything on what he considers to be a good gamble.
Frontier Gentlemen. Herewith an Englishman's account of life and death in the West. As a reporter for the London Times, he writes his colorful and unusual stories. But as a man with a gun, he lives and becomes a part of the violent years in the new territories. In just a moment, we will bring you this latest report from the Frontier Gentlemen. Nobody's a stick in the mud where CBS News is concerned. On features like The World Tonight, listeners go right along to wherever the news is happening. Hear eyewitness report from CBS News overseas correspondents. Enjoy lively interviews with the very people who are making the news night after night, as most of these same CBS radio stations present The World Tonight. Now, starring John Daner, this is the story of J.B. Kendall, Frontier Gentlemen.
In my wanderings, I have found that a horse is an indispensable method of transport.
The voice is familiar, but can you remember the name? That's the problem confronting our star-studded panel of experts each Sunday, as most of these same stations present Says Who. Says Who is CBS Radio's fast-moving guessing game with Henry Morgan as host. Add the rapid-fire repartee of Morgan and his panel to the excitement of guessing the identity of the mystery voice, and you've got at least two